Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Tom, for having this incredible event. I am Seth Hyman, and I am also the parent of a medically complex child named Rebecca, who some of you might have heard about. I'm also an employee of one of the sponsors, the law firm Kelley Kronenberg, which I'll get to in a minute. A little bit about my story and how I got here today. Our daughter is severely medically complex, and she doesn't walk or talk, has a feeding tube, but of all her disabilities, it's her intractable epilepsy, it's her seizures that's literally taking years off her life. So for the last 4 years, I've been working with the legislature and trying to get things moving here in the state, and we recently had Senate Bill 1030 passed, which, by the way, I just want to mention, Mr. Wiley said something earlier about possibly with Amendment 2, the nursery situation with 30 years, and that's really not true. We don't really know what's going to happen. So anything that is now or that you've heard in the past for previous legislation, the amendment is not legislation, it's a constitutional amendment. So we don't know what's going to happen. So moving forward, I've told my story a lot to a lot of people throughout the state, and when I met the COO of Kelley Kronenberg, who's a nationwide full practice law firm, and I told him my story, and Howard Wander, who's here today, he's in the back, he said, "How can I help your cause? What could I do?" And the first thing he said is, "I want to get involved. I want our firm to get involved. I want to meet people. I want to see patients. I want to meet business owners. I want to be part of this exciting industry to really help people." And probably one of the most memorable moments I had with him was when I said to him, I said, "Howard, could you imagine down the road, you get a letter from a family, from a parent like me, and they say to you, 'Mr. Wander, I want to thank you for doing what you're doing because your work and the work of your clients and folks like you who want to get involved in the industry saved my child or my loved one's life.'" And that's what this is about. I think, it ultimately comes down to the benefit of the folks who are going to use it. And you as the entrepreneurs and the business owners who want to be that vehicle to get it to them is such an important role. And that's why come November, it's very important for us to do the right thing. With that being said, there's probably no other attorney here in the state of Florida who has had more experience with marijuana than this gentleman here. Michael Minardi is probably one of the most well-known attorneys in the state of Florida when it comes to marijuana. He's been practicing law. His specialty is marijuana for the last 10 to 12 years, so he'll tell you a little bit about himself and what the firm is going to be doing. But I just want to thank everybody here today for participating, and it's really going to be up to us to do the right thing come November, so thank you. Michael?
Thank you all. It's stories like Seth's and stories that I hear from patients every day throughout this state who are suffering from illnesses that cannabis helps for, which really drives me in this industry. As Seth said, I've been defending people for the past 10 years for medical necessity defense, the real medical necessity defense. It's not a card that you can buy right now. It's not something that exists right now. You have to get arrested and provide an affirmative defense for that. But as the laws in Florida have changed, so has my focus. I will still defend patients tooth and nail to allow them to use cannabis and have the right to use cannabis, but I also want to help and make sure that the laws in this state are done correctly, that businesses are prepared to get into this industry, and that patients, as a result of that, will be able to be taken care of. That's why I joined the firm of Kelley Kronenberg. I'd been out on my own for years, and they approached me and said they wanted to establish a regulated substance division. And I was proud to work with Seth and people like him to be able to do that. And we want to take that aspect to the business aspect, be able to provide everything that you need in this business, whether it be the application process, zoning issues, where or when you're going to have your business, how you're going to establish your business, what kind of corporate formation you're going to have, transactional issues, if you're going to have partnership agreements. You're going to need to know these things, and you're going to have to know how to navigate these waters federally. No matter what, as an attorney, I have to tell you, federally, this is illegal. It can get you in trouble federally. They can arrest you any point in time or day. We know we do have some instructions from the Department of Justice through the Cole memo, But those are things that you have to understand and be aware of, and we're prepared to be able to apply that to you, to your business and what you want to be, whether it be a doctor, a cultivation place, a dispensary or a treatment center, or an extraction place, edibles. You have to know how to be able to brand your marketing. You can't brand nationwide right now. It's a state issue. You have to be able to know these things so that you can be prepared to get involved in this industry and do it right. Businesses are failing left and right in this industry across this country. And there's conflict in bankruptcy courts. Bankruptcy courts in Colorado say, hey, you lose your butt in the cannabis industry, we're not going to help you out. We're not going to bail you out. In California, they have allowed businesses to declare bankruptcy. But these are the things that you're going to need to know as an entrepreneur and as someone getting into this business, how to do it and what risks you face and what benefits you face. The Florida Department of Financial Regulations, I believe, estimates this to be about an $8 million industry the first year if Cannabis Amendment 2 passes. That is plenty enough money to go around this room, I think. So you need to be educated. You know, we're a firm that can provide all the needs that you have. We have offices throughout this state, and I'm proud to be able to help you and to be able to represent you so that you can get good quality medication in your own place, but also to the patients as well, so that this industry becomes legitimized, so that we don't have the sheriff's office worrying about stoners and this stuff that Just Say No is saying for kids. They're going to go into stores and get it all the time. It's just not true. We have to stop the lies and we have to help the people. And you guys are taking the first step by coming to this conference, showing an interest in this industry. And you're going to need, even to get involved in this after Amendment 2 passes, you're going to have to get ready immediately as to what you need to be involved in this industry. Every application that I've read and every regulation that I've read throughout this country and for the last 10 years as they've come out, being part of NORML Legal Committee, and I am the legal director of NORML of Florida, you know, it educates me on differences. Every state has little differences, but there's also similarities in each and every state. And we can set you up and tell you how to prepare for those similarities and what you need, what sort of aspects of this business that you need to be involved in and what you need to know. You have Mr. Macris coming up later regarding the tax issues. That's something else you have to know. 280E is fraught with problems. The IRS is being sued currently right now by a dispensary for their tax purposes with regards to medical cannabis. So these are all things that you need to know, that we can prepare you and help you to know in regards to this industry. If you have any questions, we're going to be here throughout the day. We provide consultation, like I said. We have offices throughout this state, and we can meet you at any of those offices to be able to provide you the information that you need to be able to, after Amendment 2 passes, to get your feet on the ground running, because once the application process comes out, you know, it may be a short window of time that you have to be able to apply for that. You have to know what kind of finances that you need to support it and what kind of team that you need, and whether or not there's going to be residency requirements and things like that. Everyone's going to need background checks. The regulations, and if anyone's seen one of the applications that have been provided in any states, they're usually about 5,000 pages. So this isn't something to be taken lightly. If you're going to do it, you should jump in with 2 feet and fully. It's not something that you can be able to do on the side, I don't think. It's going to be something that you're going to have to be dedicated and devoted to do and have the resources to do. We're here to help you. I'm here to provide you guidance. Here to provide you the accurate information as to what's going out there and what's happening right now. Currently, we're trying to work with zoning issues, with city commissioners and things like that to determine what they're doing in their cities and towns where you may want to have a dispensary or a treatment center or a cultivation center. That's the first thing. There's been places out of Washington and that have gotten licenses, and then the town or city has zoned them out. There's currently moratoriums going around this state preventing applications in the process from beginning in those counties and states. So you have to know that, and you have to be prepared, because in all reality, you're going to have a place and have a location and have all your ideas to set it up before you provide an application. You're going to have those things provided before you do that, so you don't want to rent a place and then find out that it's a place that's banned. And if you do, you want to make sure that your real estate contract may give you an out, and that's things that we can help you with. So contact us, come by and chat with us, and let us know what you need and what kind of needs that you're going to need in this industry, other issues. This isn't just about people who want to be involved in cannabis and the growing and the cultivation, but there is a multitude of ancillary businesses as well that we can help you set up and the best way to run those. We will provide services that once your treatment center gets up and running to be able to assist you through the process of the first year or 6 months of running it, making sure that you continue to provide the legal and requirements that you're going to have to comply with. This is an industry about compliance, and I think Florida, as a result of what they put in the Senate Bill 1030, is going to make sure that compliance is going to be strictly adhered to, and it's going to be something that everyone is going to have to do. So please join your organizations throughout this state to advocate this. As Karen said, make contact with each and every one you know and make sure that they get out and vote. The polls have been everywhere on this, 53% up to 90%. And everything that we're doing here today, everything that we're saying about regulations coming out is all going to be for naught if Amendment 2 doesn't pass. And it starts with people voting, people caring, and people having compassion about this issue in this industry. People like Seth and understanding and those stories. There's people here that have children that can benefit from cannabis, and there's people that have relatives, whether it be seniors or 30-year-olds or veterans, people who are in the war with PTSD or AIDS or cancer or arthritis or back pain. These are things that we have to address. These are things that people have to have compassion about, and you have to be the ones that are able to get into this industry and be able to understand and comply with this industry so that it doesn't get a bad name. Colorado is great. They just recently did a study last year about how many kids went into dispensaries and were able to purchase stuff under 21 years old. Resounding zero. There were no sales that they were able to find in the state of Colorado to minors. And we want to be able to have that same regulation and compliance here, because it's important to legitimize this industry, to hopefully get the banking institutions on board, to get the IRS on board, and to get the federal government on board, because once that happens, the millions of dollars become billions of dollars. So thank you all for your time here. Reach out to us, and if you have any questions, we're here to answer them for you. Thank you.